My name is Seth Tandoh. I'm a leadership coach and the founder of the Leadership Ghana Forum. I advise that young people who come to us undergo this test. It's not mine, it's a Dr. Holland test. You can actually find it on the internet and get to know who you are. And when you identify your three main personalities, they interact to make you who you are. And it really helps you in your everyday life and helps you understand why you do what you do and realize, oh, I'm not that strange after all because I like to be on my own, I'm an introvert, or I talk a lot because I'm social and I need to open up so that other people will open up to me because as a social person, I like helping people with their problems, going into their burdens, doing psychological work, things like that. So it's very important. And through that, you find your purpose or you find your identity because basically your identity is asking yourself, who am I? And then the purpose comes with asking yourself, whose am I? For example, if you're a Christian, you believe that you've been put on this earth for a particular reason, your life belongs to Christ and He's given you a mission to do on this earth. So that's your purpose. That's part of your identity. That's part of who you are. So it's a long process you go through. It's a lifetime process. You never really finish knowing who you are, but it's revealed slowly. And it involves asking questions, just as if I was getting to know someone. I'd ask, who was that person? What do they like doing? What didn't they like doing? For example, if you're the type of person who doesn't like to cheat, it means you're honest, you value honesty. So values are also very important in finding out who you are. And you get a lot of values from your parents, you get some from church, you get some from school, you get some from the media, and you have to decide which are good for you and which are not. So it's kind of an ongoing process. It's difficult to give you a roadmap as such, but the more you know about yourself, the more you'll discover your purpose, your talents, what gives you job satisfaction, and you take it from there. Every child is unique, and so a mistake a lot of parents make is treating each child the same. Oh, what worked for Michael should work for Wanda. What worked for Ekuya should work for Kofi. And yet Kofi is very different from Kwame. They may be from the same mother, the same father, lived in the same house, been through the same set of circumstances, but one is artistic and one is social. One is investigative, one is technical. And so, for example, if one is technical, you can't force him to do something creative or academic. He has to go to a technical school. Whereas if someone is academic, send him to a university. If someone is artistic, you can't force them to do accountancy. And this is a big mistake we make in the African community and in the Ghanaian community. We tend to believe that certain occupations and careers are prestigious, and if you don't belong to that set, then you're not doing a good job. So if you're not an accountant, a lawyer, or a doctor, then it's not really worthwhile. Whereas success should be defined as doing what you were born to do to the best of your abilities. So if you were born to be a footballer, if you were born to be an engineer, if you were born to be a car mechanic, find it and do it to your best of your abilities, because you'll be so good at it, as it's a God-given talent, that through that you get your remuneration, you get your popularity, your fame, whatever it is you're looking for, you get that success. In terms of respect, it's very important too that we look at the way we bring up children in Africa and in Ghana, because we tend to have this idea that respect comes from distance. So if the father is a bit distant from the children, they will respect him. Now, don't get me wrong, respect is very important. I believe it is one thing that keeps the African culture together. But I think as African parents, we need to understand that respect has to be earned. It can't really be demanded. So we earn our children's respect by also respecting them, getting to know them as individuals, and showing that we respect ourselves by living up to the things we profess. So if we have values, our children must see us keeping those values. If we want to be treated a certain way, our parents must treat themselves that way, treat each other that way, and treat us that way, so that we can also give that respect back to them. So it's kind of a complicated process. I think also we misunderstand humility. We say we want humble children, But most of the time, what we actually want are timid children. And there's a big difference between humility and timidity. When a person is humble, it means they are not proud. They don't put themselves before others. But at the same time, they don't look down on themselves. I think a lot of African children end up with lowered self-confidence because they've been trained to be humble. And it usually involves some sort of humiliation, beating, insulting in public, and it's not constructive. You are beating the person down and it may look like humility to you, but it's actually timidity. So when the person goes out into the wider world, self-expression can be a problem. So in terms of humility, that's what I would also say. So basically, know your children as individuals, understand what respect is, understand humility. When you are talking to your children, share with them the vision behind or the knowledge behind your list of do's and don'ts. One big mistake we make in Ghana, and this is the reason why we are losing a lot of our traditions, is we tell people, do this, don't do that, but we don't explain why they should do this or why they shouldn't do that. So it means that when you're not around to discipline me, which usually means beating me, when I leave and move to a different scenario, I can't apply the vision behind what you've taught me to a new scenario. Let me give a simple example. You tell the child, sweep the living room or I'll beat you. The child will know, okay, I have to sweep to avoid the punishment. Or if I can take the punishment, I'll not sweep. But if you explain to the child, we are sweeping this room because it's a reflection on the family. If visitors come and see it dirty, it reflects badly on all of us. You'll be surprised that even when you are far away in another country on holiday, your child may come in, even after having swept it in the morning, will come back in the afternoon and say, this place is not clean. I need to sweep it up because it reflects badly on the family. When he gets his own house, he'll make sure the living room is clean. You see, you are teaching them the vision behind what you want them to know so they can apply it and understand it. The reasoning process is there. Otherwise, you just end up with a yes sir master culture where do this, yes sir, and I do it. But I don't really understand why I'm not doing it. So when the cat's away, the mice come out to play. Or when you leave a village situation where there's no superstition being used to force you to do certain things, you come to the city, no ghosts to catch you, no spirits to catch you, then you just go back to the indiscipline, the raw state. We are virtually at the point where we have a generation of children raised sometimes almost entirely by the media. And not all the values in the media are positive. So you need to be talking to your children to find out what they value, who influences them, what they believe about certain things, but not in a I'm the parent up here and you are the child down here kind of way. As friends, the respect is still there. You don't become a child, but you become a friend to understand what your daughter or your son is going through. Not in a judgmental way, and then giving them friendly advice on how to overcome it and making sure the door is always open for them to share with you what is going on. So you don't hear it from someone else that, hey, your daughter went here and look at what she was wearing, what she was doing. Or your son, when he goes to this place, da-da-da-da-da. No. Let them bring that to the house, discuss it, and you solve it in the house as an African family unit, and that will really help. If you're a young person, in order to resist being taken off track, obviously you must know what your track is, where you're going, why are you doing what you're doing, the motive. Because you could do the right thing for the wrong reason or the wrong thing for the right reasons. So you must always ask yourself, especially with major issues in life, why am I doing this? Why am I going to university? Why am I following this career? Why do I have this friend? And I think the most important thing to also watch out for is, what is it you want and how is each thing taking you there? You must have a long-term view. Does it fit in with where I'm going to in the long term? It can be a big thing to think about. It's good you get a mentor or a counselor to help you with, or somebody who is on track that you admire. Ask the person a few questions to help you to understand how they got there. And then they are sort of mentoring you to get there as well. A lot of influence is very subconscious. You don't notice it's happening, but as you're just walking down the street with a friend and discussing things, you're picking up your friend's values. As you're sitting in front of the television, eating your piece of cake or drinking your Coke or whatever, you're picking up values from that program. As you go into the shop and choose what to buy to wear, you're picking up values from somewhere, because clothes are a language. So it's very important you have a yardstick to measure all these things by, so that you understand that, oh, when I wear this, I imply this. There are many things out there that are good, but they might not be good for you. And how would you know the difference? Because you know that my plan is to become this in 5 years. I'm getting a scholarship from this university, it looks wonderful, but if it takes me off track, it's not good for me. So it is very important that you start with some sort of compass point. So as I said, knowing yourself. Then you have a yardstick with which to, even your friendships, you look at friends and say, is this person helping me to get to where I want to go or taking me off track? Fine, we go out, we have a laugh, etc. That's fine. But if I'm spending 8 to 10 hours a week with this person, are they leading me to where I'm supposed to go or pulling me back? Hardly ever are they not having any effect on you at all. It's one or the other. Then I would say, in terms of other temptations, pornography, drinking, whatever, a lot of them may be enjoyable. That's a fact you can't deny. But look at the end result. Do you become addicted? Does your behavior change? Instead of you controlling it, does it now control you? You know, everything starts from a place. It creeps in slowly, becomes a habit, and then it becomes hard to kick the habit. Hardly ever does the thing come to you and say, I'm here to destroy you or to make you addicted. No, it starts from, I need to belong, I want to be entertained, I'm feeling bored, I'm feeling like frustrated. I'll go for a cigarette, I'll go for a drink, I'll join a gang. These people understand me, I feel like I belong. And before you realize it, there's a price for that belonging, there's a price for that entertainment. And if you're not willing to pay it, don't get involved in it in the first place. So it's very important you take these steps with yourself, with your parents, parents with your children, and then with your friends. You have friends who are building you up. You have a boyfriend or a girlfriend who is growing you. The question shouldn't be how beautiful the person is, how great the sex is, or whatever it is. Is this person helping you to grow? And are you helping the other person to grow? Every problem can be solved with some level of communication. And it's often very interesting if we can go and talk to sometimes strangers and explain the problem so well, but we can't explain it to the person involved in the problem. Sometimes because of respect, because of distance, because of a whole lot, we don't want to be seen as weak. But communication is extremely important. Keep your communication channels open with your children and with your parents all the time. Be approachable, listen long before you give advice, because that's a problem we always have. Listen, 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 and then give advice if necessary, but communicate, communicate. And through communication, we solve a lot of problems.